At this point, we have 3 different queries holding different types of information, but actually the difference only refers to the years. So in the first query, we have the population data for 10 to 19, in the second one from 20 to 29, and then the third one from 30 to 40. Besides this, the tables here in our queries are equally structured, meaning we have the same amount of columns. So if we scroll to the right here and do the same thing for the other queries, you will see that the actual column names, which is very important, and the amount of columns are equal for all of these 3 queries. Because of this, wouldn't it make sense to combine the information of these 3 individual queries in one single query, holding the entire population data from 2010 up to 2040? I think this makes sense, and in Power BI Desktop, we have a specific concept allowing us to do exactly that. This concept is called Append. Appending works as follows. We have 2 queries. The first one here, country-specific data. Here, these are revenue and cost data, so this could be some kind of financial reporting. And we have this information for the years 2016 up to 2018. And then we have a second query. Again, we have information for Germany, revenue and cost related information, but now for the years 2019 and 2021. So we got the same structure basically that we saw in our course project, meaning here we would also like to combine the information that we have from these 2 different tables, these 2 different queries, in one single query. And I mentioned this already, important here is the fact that we have the same column count, 4 columns for each of these 2 queries, and the names of these columns in these queries are equal. So both are country, revenue, cost, and year. If this is the case, so if this structure applies to your project too, then you can use the append feature to achieve this here. We can create a new table which retrieves the source information from the initial queries. So this could be a combination of 2 or more queries actually. Here we only got 2 for demonstration purposes. And then we are able to combine the data. Now we have one table with the equal column structure and the equal column names, but now with the data for the years 2016 until 2021. So appending in the end simply means adding rows or combining rows from 2 or more different queries. Let's apply this in practice now in our project. For this, in the project, I now selected the first query, and the append feature can be found in 2 different areas. As appending again refers to the entire table, we can again use this option here in the left top corner of our data preview here. There you can find the append queries option here at the bottom. That is one way to do it, but this is a bit limited, so to say. The more advanced option to append queries can be found in the home ribbon, and there to the right here in the combine part. There we have the append queries option, as we just saw it in the table interaction, so to say. But in the right part, we again have this little arrow that we know from other options that we saw in this course already. If we click onto this arrow, you see that we can either append queries or append queries as new. As the description already indicates, append queries would mean that we add rows from other queries to the currently selected one. In our case, this is the first query. Append queries as new means we create a new query, a new table, so to say, where we combine the information from different other queries. Let me show you both here in practice quickly, and let's get started with append queries. There you can now decide if you want to concatenate, so combine rows from 2 or more tables, with the current table being the initial table where this information will be added to. The 2 tables option would simply mean that we add a second table where the data should be retrieved from. So we can either select the current table, which would then kind of duplicate the data, so normally or typically not what we want. But we can also select the second or third query in our case. If we would do this, then this would be combined. So let's, for example, select the second one and confirm this. With that, if we now check our time column, so the filter here, for example, and press load more, you see that we now have the data from 2010 up to 2029 appended to this query. So this worked. Let's undo this now though, as I also want to show you some other options. So we will undo this appended query step, because actually I would like to append the queries in a new query, in a new table. For this, we'll again go to the Append Queries menu. Here now select Append Queries as New. And there I can now also define the first table separately if I want to, but as we want to combine 3 or more tables, I'll go with this option now. And there I can now select each individual table, each individual query that should be combined in this new query. I can also remove queries, so as the 10 to 19 query is here already, I could select it and press this X here to remove it. And now I could combine 10 to 19, selecting it and adding it here, and add 20 to 29, and also 2030 to 2040. I will skip this here though, because I want to show you one additional thing. So let's only append these 2 tables. We could actually also use this option, but we can also go with this one. So if we confirm this, you see we get a new query named append1. And in this query, we should again check our time here and load more. So we see again, this is 10 to 2029. So with that, we have 2 queries combined already. Now we can also add our last table to this new table here. And that's what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you the option here in our table interactions. So we can go down to append queries now, like this. And now simply select the 2 tables option, and we append our 2030 up to 2040 query to this newly created table that we created. So by confirming this now, we should hopefully have a list of the years from 2010 up to 2040. Let's quickly check this by again accessing the filter menu, pressing load more, and then scrolling down to the bottom here. Yeah, this looks all right. So this was successful. Finally, we can actually also rename our append1 query by either right-clicking onto it and renaming it, or by going to the properties option over here and simply call this population 2010 to 2040. Like this. So this was the append feature in theory and practice.